Hello everyone, this is Iyad again, and in today's video I'm going to share with you how to master basic photography using only 3 settings and take amazing shots of moving objects, landscapes during the daytime and nighttime. I'll be also taking you on a tour of a practice session in Qatar. Stay tuned! When taking a photo, there are 3 main settings that if you master them, you master half of the beginner's photography. Aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Let's dig into each one of them. The first one is aperture. The aperture is the opening of the lens through which the light goes through to the sensor. It's expressed in f numbers called f-stop, like 1.4, 1.8, 2, 2.8, and so on. It can be controlled through the camera settings or the lens itself. At the same time, the aperture controls the depth of field or the focus of the image. If you want your subject to stand out from the background and have a blurry background, you can change the settings of the aperture. By opening the lens, wide big, smaller aperture number, this separates the subject from the background. But if you close the lens, larger aperture number, this results in a full sharp image in all the background and the subject. This is good for landscape photography, but if you want some close-up shots and some artistic shots, you can open up the aperture wide big and have the subject separated from the background. The second one is shutter speed. Shutter speed is the length of time the shutter is open, allowing light going through the lens to the sensor. The quicker the shutter is, the faster the capturing the image is. In this case, it's good to capture for capturing moving subjects in the camera. If there's a fast car moving, then you take the shot quickly and the car will look sharp. But the slower the shutter speed is, the slower the image capturing is. If you have a moving object, it will look like a ghost in the image. At the same time, if the shutter speed is fast, this allows less time to go to the sensor, which means darker image. This can be balanced through the other settings. We will explain the exposure triangle in future episodes, how to fix and tackle this issue. At the same time, on the other hand, if the shutter speed is slow, this means more light going into the sensor of the camera. This means brighter image. This is good for nighttime photography. The shutter speed is represented by numbers. 1 over a fraction of a second. The larger the fraction of a second is, the faster the shutter speed is. Let's take an example. 1 over 30. This means the shutter speed is 30th fraction of a second. It can go up to 100, 600, 1000 and way more than that. It helps you to capture really fast objects. A beginner's tip: start by shutter speed of 1 over 80 or 1 over 100. Once you feel like your hands are steady, you can go to a slower shutter speed, 1 over 30 or 1 over 60. Once you master them, you can get good bright images at low shutter speed. Lower than that, you will need to use a tripod for the image. The third and last one for the day is ISO. ISO is the sensitivity of the image sensor. It doubles the sensitivity of the camera sensor to capture more details of the image. The higher the ISO is, the brighter the image, but at the same time, the more pixelated the image gets. It's good for night photography. If you don't have enough light, you can increase the ISO and get a brighter image. But be careful, because the more you increase the ISO, the lower the quality of the photo is taken. But don't be afraid to use it, because the new cameras nowadays can push the ISO level to go up in the scale. ISO starts from 100 and goes up to 200, 400, 800 and points. So as I said, don't be afraid to try it, test it and see how it goes. And now to the fun part. But before that, quickly hit the like button and subscribe, and let me take you on a tour in Qatar to practice some photo shooting using the settings that we have learned today: ISO, shutter speed and aperture. are now at the Fire Station Museum. It used to be a fire station long time ago, and recently it has turned into a museum where they feature different artists every now and then, and they have also a nice cafe called 999. It's amazing for breakfasts. I like visiting the museum every now and then for the art pieces that they bring for famous artists. But now let's take a shot of our subject. It's a bit sunny today, but I found an amazing subject. It's an old fire truck, and you'll love it, guys. Just can't wait to show it to you. Let's see, I'm gonna demonstrate some different features on my shot. Let's go and see. This is the amazing fire truck I told you about. I'm gonna take some close-up shots just to show you the difference in the aperture settings and how they affect the image. Do you see these little guys guarding the area? I'm gonna take a close-up shot now of one of them to demonstrate the different aperture settings. So I'm gonna take one at low f-stop number and one at a high f-stop number just to show you the difference. Now I have tried to change the view or subject from these little guys to this branch and to show you the subjects at the background. So see the difference between these two shots, one at a low f-stop and one at a high f-stop. And now, after going around for quite some time, I found these little fountains behind me. I'm gonna show you the different shutter speed settings. So I'm gonna capture these fountains on a low shutter speed, slow shutter speed, and fast shutter speed just to show you the difference. Let's take a look. I have taken now two shots, one at shutter speed of 40, which is slow, very slow, and the other one is at shutter speed of 4000. You can see the difference between the two shots, how sharp the one with the fast shutter speed 4000 and how little bit blurred the one at low shutter speed. By the way, you need to keep your hands steady when you take shots at the low shutter speed because the sensor is moving and the picture will become blurry when the shutter is slowly closing on your shot. As for the fast one, even if your hand is shaky, the image will be captured quickly, so it will capture the moment. It will be sharper, but it's always better to have steady hands. For the ISO, I would like to wait a little bit until it's slightly darker because it's nicer to demonstrate the different settings at night. So see you in a bit. Probably for you it's now. Now it will get darker, so let's take some shots in different ISO settings. As you can see behind me, there's a nice feature in the water, and I'm gonna take two shots of it, one in low ISO and one in high ISO, and focus and pay attention to the pixelation and details of each photo. Let's go! That's it folks for today. I hope you liked my tips and enjoyed the tool. Please hit the like button and subscribe, and see you in future videos. Bye bye.